Hey y'all, it's Amanda with Tap Mom and the Bake Brigade. Welcome back to my channel, take 2. I had the radio playing and completely forgot to mute the radio. And there's that little thing called copyright strike. You can't be having none of them. As much as I love Tom Petty. Had the radio playing. Yeah, can't be having unlicensed, me being unlicensed to play that music in my videos. So no. Won't be doing none of that. No. Anyway, so I'm still going with this. I did not frog it. Thank you for all the suggestions. So we're not frogging. And according to the pattern in the tutorial, I have about 17 more rows to go. After I counted where I was, and I have a stitch marker in it now, at least. So, yes, 17 more rows to go before I can call the back panel done and do the front panel. Yes. So, progress is being made. Yes. And as promised, I'm going to give you that movie review because we did go to the movies. Me, Mama, and Johnny. We did. We had a big bucket of popcorn, and me and Mama both had a bottle of water. Johnny had his traditional cherry Coke, and it's tradition. I used to drink the cherry Coke with him. We used to share a large cherry Coke when I could drink carbonated drinks, which I can no longer, which is very, I'm bitterly upset about. The only carbonated drink I can tolerate is sometimes Red Bull because it's lightly carbonated. If they would make a non-carbonated Diet Mountain Dew, I would be ever so grateful. Mountain Dew makers, please make a non-carbonated Mountain Dew. Because I dearly love Mountain Dew. I miss drinking Mountain Dew so much. But the bubbles, oh, they hurt. But I miss it. I miss the caffeine. Fantastic caffeine you get from Mountain Dew. Anyway, it's the highest caffeine content of any soda out there. It's amazing. And I miss it very much. But the ballerina movie, girl, they even have its own song. It even has its own song. It's that good a movie. It has its own, all movies have their own song, but this song is called Fight Like a Girl by Evanescence. Google it, YouTube search it. It's called Fight Like a Girl by Evanescence. And oh my God, that song is awesome. Ooh, we had to look it up when we got home to listen to it again because it's so freaking good. And that song is good. But the character, the main character, who is Eve, imagine that, her name being Eve. Anyway, so Eve's character, the ballerina, her family was basically killed when she was a child, and her father essentially, but she doesn't know why. She didn't know why her father was killed. For the longest time, she didn't understand why was her father killed. And so as she's going through the training to become an assassin, because if you watch the John Wick series, you know, they and I'm going to have to go watch the first one to find out exactly why they call him this, but they call him the Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga? Baba Yaga? Yeah, something like that. They call him, and they say it with such reverence. Ooh, the Baba Yaga. The Baba Yaga. And they say it, ooh, they sent the Baba Yaga. Like, it's like such a big deal. They sent the Baba Yaga. So it's like I got to go back and watch the first John Wick to find out why they call him that, because yeah, so it makes him this big deal. And so, during her training, John Wick appears in the house, because he's part of, in the beginning, he's part of the same family organization as her. And but something happens and he gets his ticket torn. He basically gets kicked out of the family. I forget why, but you'd have to be a big John Wick movie fan to find out why. But so during that around that time, she asked him about how to get out, and he said, "You always have the option to leave." And so they kind of had a brief exchange while she was in training. And then later on, after she goes through her training and she becomes this kick-butt assassin and protector, a guardian and assassin, because they do a little bit of both, and so later on, she encounters someone with the mark on their wrist, the same mark that the men who killed her father had. And so she starts digging, and she finds out that there are a whole tribe of these people, and that they're part of they're like a part of a cult, and that they also do contract killing. And so needless to say, but her director, that the Angelica Houston's part, she tells her, she says, stay away from them. Don't try to go after them as a vendetta. She said, because we have an agreement between my organization and their organization that we won't interfere with their business if they don't interfere with our business. And she said, so don't try to go after them. And she's like, okay, I won't. But then she does. And so she goes to digging. She goes to the Continental, which is where it's like a neutral location. And that's where Ian McShane and the tall African-American gentleman are, okay? And now in John Wick 4, the tall African-American gentleman gets killed. So this predates that, okay? That's why John Wick is alive in this movie and not deceased like he was in John Wick 4, okay? So at the end of John Wick 4, they show his graveside. So he's supposedly deceased. So this predates that. So anyhow, so she goes to the Continental where Ian McShane, they call him the hotel manager, and the concierge. She goes and she asks for some information from them about these people. And well, he decided to entertain her request, and he gives her the 411, and then he calls and gets information on where one of their people are. And so he finds out some information on that there's one of these tribal people in a hotel that's been kind of singled out, and because he's trying to get out of the organization. And so and he's in Prague. So she follows him she goes to Prague to ask this guy some questions. She didn't go to kill him. She went to ask him some questions. So she goes to ask him some questions, but there's a price on dude's head by the cult he's trying to escape with his daughter, okay? Oh, Lord have mercy. So I should have said spoiler alert at the front of the video, because I'm totally giving this whole movie away. Okay. Just like I warned y'all yesterday that I was going to, or the day before yesterday. Anyway, so needless to say, she goes to try to talk to him, but in the middle of trying to talk to him, they get attacked, and all this action ensues and whatnot, and so they get separated. He gets shot and left for dead. The little girl gets taken back to the cult by the cult members, and the Continental, because there was a separate Continental hotel that he was staying at in Prague. So because there's several, if you watch the John Wick movies, you know that. But so the hotel people pick him up, scrape him off the sidewalk, and take him and put him in a hospital bed. But they don't tell you none of this until the end of the movie. You don't know that he's okay until the end of the movie. So so she's like, at this point, she's on a quest to find out how to get to these people. But they're kind of they're a hidden society. Not everybody knows where they live, but she's kind of, just gonna go looking. She's gonna go looking regardless of what anyone said. She's got it in her head. She's gonna go find these people. And so she goes to a gun dealer that apparently has a reputation. She gives him her gold coin, which is part of the deal, and she tells him she needs some guns, she needs some ammunition. And well, while they're there, and he takes her into this room with all this beautiful gunnery and whatnot, they get attacked by this cult. And because they have been trolling her, they have been tracking her and looking to derail her plans to attack them. And so after this battle ensues and his shop is destroyed, the gun shop owner decides to tell her about where they are, because he knows. So he loads her up and even gives her his Mustang. Who gives her his Mustang? The Mustang. I mean, this matte black gorgeous Mustang. And I called it before they even showed the car. I said, I bet he drove a Mustang. I don't know why I knew he was a Mustang, but it was a gorgeous Mustang. Anyway, this matte black gorgeous murdered out Mustang. Anyway, so she drives the Mustang to what looks like some Slavic, Swedish, hidden Swedish town under snow. It's got to be covered in snow, right? So she no sooner gets to this town, and she walks into this establishment, and she orders herself a coffee. And the next thing you know, some dude just comes in there and starts shooting at her. She hadn't even asked nobody nothing. She hadn't even, shown any sorts of aggression or nothing like that. She just, she's eyeballing everybody. Of course, she's eyeballing everybody, but they know who she is before she even opens her mouth. They know who she is. And so action ensues and the shooting begins. And so attack. And so they're running around attacking her. She's running around attacking them. And then they finally nail her down. And instead of killing her, they take her to the head dude. And so then she gets some answers. So one of the females that she's been fighting with ends up being her sister. And that the head dude is actually the one that killed her father. Because her father was trying to get her out of this cult thing, and so they could have a normal life. And for some reason, he only got the one daughter out. He didn't get the other daughter out. And the mother, they never really talk about her mother. I guess her mother died or something like that. But basically, she finds her sister after the fact. And so she runs off, or she escapes them, and her sister goes after her, and they end up in a building of some sort. And they're at first they're fighting, and then she's like, "I've missed you, I wish things had been different," kind of situation. And then somebody throws an explosive into the building that they're in, and her sister gets killed. And that really just kind of makes her mad even worse. And so she does her best to fight. And so she goes off, and she's kind of, licking her wounds and trying to collect herself. And then the head guy calls her boss lady, and she says, "You need to deal with your girl." And she says, "Okay, I'll send somebody." Who do you think she sent? The Baba Yaga. She sent John Wick. And of course, as soon as he gets off the bus, you hear someone, "Oh, they sent the Baba Yaga." so she encounters John Wick, and they start kind of fighting a little bit, and he looks at his watch and he says, I'll give you till midnight. He said, at midnight I'm gonna come find you and kill you. He said, but you got till midnight to kill your target. And she says, agreed. So she goes, and homegirl finds flamethrower. She finds a flamethrower. I kid you not. This flamethrower, she burns down half the town with this flamethrower. And then her new nemesis, one of the opponents, finds a flamethrower. And so they're dueling flamethrowers. She finally gets him at one point. She finally puts out his flame, so to speak. And then she finally gets to the head guy, and he's like, you're not doing anything if you kill me. They'll put somebody else in my place, and blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, John Wick is up on a high peak with a daggum sniper rifle, ready to take her out, because guess what? It's midnight. But John Wick is John Wick, and he's going to wait and see what happens first. And so homegirl says, well, it's about a wrap for you there, cult leader. And right between the eyes he goes. And John Wick calls the director, and he says, she says, well, is it done? And he said, yeah. And he said, he's dead. And she says, oh. And then he hangs up the phone. And so, needless to say, homegirl now got a bounty on her head. Just like John Wick has typically got a bounty on his head. And so it goes. So now she's in John Wick's shoes, where he normally stays with a bounty on his head. But it was a heck of a movie. Loaded with action. Bang, 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 and fighting and knifing and ooh. If you like action, you'll love it. I didn't tell you everything, so I didn't. It's still worth going to watch, especially if you like fightings and gun fightings and knife fightings and girl power and girl badassery and all that good stuff. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Badassery. A whole lot of that going on. And I think y'all would have fun. It was fun. It was fun to be there with Mom. It was fun to be there with John. We all had a grand time. We enjoyed our popcorn. Yes, we did. I took Mom to Sam's afterwards, and she was able to get some stuff for her house. And I got a few things for here. And yeah, so that was yesterday, and that brings y'all up to date. But so we're doing good here. I'm gonna get back to this top. I got the music on. I figured out how to get my local radio station to play on my TV through my Amazon Fire Cube. Yeah, that I've had for about 4 years now. Hey, she's still going strong. We won't ask, because my my Amazon person, that starts with an A, she talks with a British accent. I love it though. I love it. I was reading a profile on one of those dating sites. Was it day before yesterday when my sister was here, and I read through it first, and then I said, oh, I hit my sister on the leg. I said, I got to read this one to you. I said, this one, I got to read it in a British accent to make it, for you to get the full effect. Because it was just so, I don't know how prim and proper, maybe it might be the word. There were lots of college words in there. like he just opened up the encyclopedia and just pulled out the biggest, fanciest words he could find. I don't know, but he was trying really hard. And it's just the way he put the words together. It just sounded like it was coming from a magazine instead of a person, and it was just hilarity ensued. Okay. I read that and she just looked at me. She says, "Is he serious?" I said, "I don't know, but it's hilarious." Needless to say, I did not send that person a message. I merely read their profile and then next. Let's keep it moving. But I thought I'd share that little tidbit with y'all. Maybe y'all will get as much giggle out of it as me. I don't know. Maybe y'all just giggle because I'm giggling, and that's good too. But anyway, here's your little bit of Tap Mama for today. It's Wednesday, June 11th. I'm gonna let y'all go for now, but I did want to come tell y'all about the movie as I promised, and my little top that I'm working on, and so that y'all could see that I'm still doing good. I'm happy. Went and got Maggie and Theo their monthly flea pills from the feed store, and they're doing fine. They're itching less. I think Maggie's in there chilling out in the living room with Theo. They're not happy that I put pills down their throat. But they'll get over it. I don't hide pills in food for them. I just open their mouth, hold their tongue down, and shove it down their throat. I do. I'm a bit just kind of just do stuff. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't try to dress it up. I just kind of do it. Theo doesn't mind too much. Maggie, on the other hand, I have to finesse her a little bit. But I get the job done. Yes. But I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. If I could entertain you and make you laugh, and you enjoyed my little commentary and description of the movie, then please let me know that. I'd appreciate that. And hope I did entertain you for a little bit while you crocheted or just laughed with me. Just laugh with me. That would be wonderful. I would enjoy that very much, to know that you laughed with me. And maybe you even want to see a John Wick movie now. Who knows? I'm going to have to go back and watch the first one, which they're all on Peacock. So I can go back and watch the first one and find out why he's called the Bobby, that. Bobby, I can't even say it now. I've said it too many times. I'm going to go find out why he's called that. And why they say it with such reverence. Ooh, the Baba Yaga. Ooh. Yeah, I have to know why. Plus, it's good to go back and watch the first movies of something that you've watched before, because then it reminds you why you started watching them. Yes, and I believe there was a Mustang involved in that one too. It's one of my favorite muscle cars, by the way. But I love y'all, and so does Jesus. And of course, please remember to adopt, don't shop. Your best friend could be waiting on you at the shelter or the rescue. And I will see y'all again soon. Bye now.